Hello, folks, and welcome to Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal, your regular show on Tuesday nights here at 5 p.m. And how is Miss Denise doing?
I forgot to send one of our guests a link.
Uh-oh.
So I'm doing that now.
Oh, must be, the one down in Tennessee
Bristol.
or Kentucky.
Bristol, yep.
Yep.
So
they're down there by the racetrack.
Yeah, right down the street,
Oh.
right across the street from King College there, and I always have a good time when I'm there. So it's going to be nice to have somebody on here that nobody's met. I'm pretty sure.
Exactly.
And I've talked about him on the show a few times. And the main thing is I wanted to have somebody on here to introduce to one of our other guests so that they all felt like they were old friends from a long time ago. But tonight our guests are Frank J. Bennett.
Yep.
Bringing him back. I don't know why. It's that bad penny thing. And then Rex is here. And in a short bit, my cousin Dan Surber is going to be on here. And he is big into music. His son's an astronaut. He's had some paranormal experiences. He lives in my great-grandmother's old house.
Oh, really?
Haunted, by the way. It was built by our family there. And so we got all kinds of fun people on here tonight. And
that sounds great.
And Dan can only be on here for the first hour, so because they've got there
he is down there,
a concert coming up. So I'd like to welcome everybody into our chat room.
Okay.
And then I want to welcome everybody that we invited in for everybody to see.
We'll bring everybody up on here.
So I'm going to do some introductions.
There you go.
Over here is Rex. Over here, whatever. Carl's with the hat.
That's me.
Yeah. The bald guy is Rex.
Yes.
Down in that corner down there is my cousin Dan. And over that, whatever. The other guy's Frank.
Yeah.
What is this, the Brady Bunch?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to introduce Dan to Rex because Rex has his music show on here. But Dan has all kinds of things that we talk about all the time. And I thought it would be fun to have him on here.
Yeah.
So
welcome, Dan. You, Dan.
Hey, good to meet you.
So we can't hear you, Dan.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So
there you go. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
So
and Facebook user over there, we're doing good today. But go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give them permission to use your name, and then we'll know who you are.
Otherwise, you're going to have to tell us, and we don't
right.
remember well.
Because if you're in one of the group pages, that's how you come up as Facebook user.
So Dan, you have a love of music. So does Rex. Of course, so does Ron. Ron will be here soon. He's on his walk. So
okay.
Tell me how you got involved with music.
Well, I was watching a TV show, Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs, when I was about 9 years old. And I saw the light reflect around this instrument. I didn't know what it was. And it caught my attention. It turned out to be a 5-string banjo. So that's one of the first things I wanted was a banjo. So I took one of my bicycles and traded it for a 4-string banjo. And that got it all started. And I started playing music. By the time I was 11 years old, I was playing with the lady on my paper route and my best friend. We were going out to nightclubs and playing. And my banjo wasn't loud enough, so I had to put a pickup on it. We played with a drummer. And you couldn't hear the banjo for the drummer, so I put a pickup on it. And then I started putting string benders and all this kind of stuff in it. And then I started playing. I got to where some stars noticed me. I played with some of them. Played with Waylon Jennings for a while. Played with Bill Carlisle. A lot of these people y'all probably don't know because they're old timers. Played with Dottie
Yeah, we
West.
do.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is none of us are young timers on here.
No.
and if somebody doesn't know who Waylon is, they got a problem.
They got a real
That's true.
problem.
That's true. Yeah, Waylon's you don't get much bigger than Waylon unless you're talking Merle Haggard.
Yep.
I never got a chance to play with Merle. I always wanted to play with him, but I never got a chance to. There's so many other great pickers that had the opportunity to play with him, and I wasn't near as good as any of them. But I did okay for a 13-year-old kid, and but that's how I got into it.
You were 13 years old playing with Waylon?
Well, no, I was about 17 with Waylon. I was about 13 when I played my first bar.
Oh, okay.
We played around Washington, D.C. and Georgetown, and played Glass Slipper and the Speakeasy, and there's a little daytime gig we had at a place called Afternoon Delight that we would play maybe 45, 50 minutes, and then first star I guess that I ever played with really was Sonny and Bob Osborne. We played at a place called the Red Fox Lounge in Baltimore, and my friend and I would open for them. I still have a set of pics that Sonny Osborne gave me back when he was still living.
Wow. That's amazing.
Is the Red Fox Lounge in Towson?
I'm sorry?
Is the Red Fox Lounge in Towson?
There was the one I was at was in Baltimore City, right in Baltimore, and
Maybe
it wasn't a really big place. It was back before they did Rocky Top, so they weren't really super big yet. So,
So Frank is from not too far from where I grew up, out there near Hawthorne and Essex and all that.
oh, okay.
So he knows our area very well, and he was a clubber. He would go out and wine and not wine and dine, but
I was a dance machine, and I didn't really. I was too young to drink when I started going to nightclubs and bars. So, but I did meet a heck of a lot of ladies who taught me how to dance, and just never stopped dancing. And wherever they had good clubs that had good dancing, there I was.
I always I liked the Speakeasy in Georgetown because they had ladies that were on these swings with these velvet ropes, and they swing across the top of the people that were in the bar, and that fascinated me. I started, like I say, when I was around 13, 14, we were playing in Georgetown, so that kind of fascinated me. It got me realizing that the ladies like musicians anyway.
Are you sure that wasn't called the Peakeasy?
Well, we did a lot of peeking, and it was pretty easy, so it could have been.
It could have been.
Aunt Nellie, can you help me? Never mind. No. So everybody hears about my family all the time. So I was trying to explain, that about your brothers being my mom's double first cousins, and them being, and it's hard to explain to people when your family tree is the roots are crossing everywhere you look,
Oh yeah.
But again, it's not crossed like that to where you're going, oh, we got cousins married to cousins. No, we don't. It's just
no. We just have the same grandparents. We had my mother was married 2 different times, so all of my brothers have a different name than I do. I don't have any full brothers. I had 4 half brothers and 2 half sisters. Now I have 1 half sister left. And 1 half brother.
and
yeah, we have the same grandparents. That was one thing for it.
Yeah, and
Well,
like I
they're
said,
great. That's right.
well, I was telling everybody that you live in my great grandparents' house,
Right.
and I've told people this 100 times. When I walked into that house when I was a kid, I was terrified of that house. I thought it was hanging off the side of a mountain because the back porch was questionable.
Yep.
Not to mention walking across the grate was scary.
Oh yeah.
Out here up in Iowa, I know there's still a lot of houses with that grate, but that house had the grate. As soon as you walked in the front door, And if you were barefoot, you could feel it. I mean, and of course, we were always barefoot. And I told
the ladies that came in with high heels hated that thing because
Oh yeah,
they
they
usually
go
got
right through it.
stuck down in it and they cut the leather on their heels, So
and it was hard
I
to
had to
step
take
around.
it.
So yeah, Dan took that out. It's no longer there. So, but it's so different. I mean, it was funny. We were there. I was doing my show in their living room a few years ago, back in 2018. I did my show in their living room. And what was funny about it was I'd been to their house a few times. Did not even realize until Aunt Belle walks in the front door that this is the same house from when I was a kid. Because Dan had changed it so much that I didn't recognize it as the house that used to scare the crap out of me when I was a kid.
Well, that's good.
So, but I mean, I told you that when we were there. Yeah. So, but I'm so glad you're on here. Okay, so you got a job building instruments. So you're building guitars.
Yep. I went to work at Microfret Guitar Company in about 1969 or thereabouts and worked with them till they closed in 73. And that's where I learned how to build guitars. We built guitars there for Carl Perkins. I got to meet Carl 2 or 3 times. Even got to sit down and jam with him. That was probably the coolest day of my life.
Wow.
He was telling me about Paul McCartney and different ones like that he had jammed with. And
wow.
So we made guitars for some of Johnny Cash's other people too. We made them for Marshall Grant, made them for Buck Trent that played for Porter Wagner. I've made electric banjo for Buck Trent that played for Porter Wagner.
Who's now currently live down in Branson.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
For the early show. I think it's like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So, but
well,
that's
the COVID
people are going to be there.
I think the COVID kind of knocked Branson out of the market for a while. I think the Presleys are the only ones really playing there now.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on down there from what I understand. Carl was just there not that long ago down in Branson. Didn't you go down there for that food thing?
No.
Where was that at?
The food. Oh, we was at Lake of the Ozarks.
Lake of the Ozarks. Okay.
Yeah.
Different place. Big lakes, different place.
Yeah, they had all kinds of things down there at the lake. But yeah, I've been to Branson several times over the years. Right now, just all the parks are the big things down there.
Right. Yeah, Buck Trent still lives there. In fact, him and I have been friends since I was a kid. And I've got one of his banjos he played behind Dolly and Porter. That I call it one of his banjos. It's actually parts off of the original banjo he used with Porter Wagner. It was a Baldwin banjo, and he sent me the neck, and he sent me the pickup, and he sent me the different parts, volume control knobs and the bridge and different things. I would make parts for him, and when I would send my parts to him, he would send the old parts back to me. So I put that one together, and it's got all the parts that they used for Dolly has held that neck and all that stuff. So a lot of history.
What he's talking about is he makes electric banjos.
Yeah.
So,
well, I made a thing too that I when I was with Bill Carlisle, we were playing in this little place in West Virginia. You could see through the floorboards, and there was a river running under it. It was built across the bank of a stream or something. And if you dropped your picks in there, your money, it was gone. And we were up on this stage, and it was this sawdust floor, and the stage was rocking back and forth, and my banjo was rocking back and forth, and all of a sudden it fell. And when it fell, a bass player stepped on it and broke the neck. So I had to take an old Fiasco guitar, turn it into a 5-string banjo, and it was electric, so that helped. So the next thing I did was I built a guitar body with electric banjo neck and string benders, and so I've got like a little 5-string steel guitar now.
Right. Now, you built guitars, you built banjos. Have you built any of these, what they call cigar box guitars that's getting real popular?
Never have. There were a couple of guys around here building them, and they were building tin can guitars like that too.
Yeah. And they're
A lot of
making
them
what they
make
call a
slide
canjo.
guitars. Yeah, a lot of them make slide guitars out of them. They sound great.
Oh yeah, they do. I'm making one up here and everything. I've got a hickory neck on it and stuff,
Right.
and I've got it all just about ready to put together.
Oh, that's cool.
So it'll be acoustic, but I've got the parts for the electric to put in it if I want to do that later on.
Right, yeah.
Well, whoever
Yeah.
Facebook user is, they know Ron.
That's Pastor Gary.
Oh, it is.
Well, you seen up there where he said I took the cords out of the SLS because the SLS messed up on us
Yeah,
over at Ashmore.
yeah.
So I know that's who that is. He must
Oh.
be on the Paranormal Nation Radio group page instead of the Bill of Rights network.
Hey, Cassie. So, Rex is a huge Queen fan, and as you can see, he's got some guitars too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I watched one of his shows the other night on YouTube that someone sent me, and I thought it great show.
Must have been the one with him and Luke on the.
I don't know.
Yeah,
which
British
one.
guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
You, Luke. Yeah, he's one of our
that was
regular
Luke.
guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you need
Is
to know
he in
anything
it?
about a computer, that's who you talk to is Luke.
Is he in England or is he just from England?
He's from Wales over there, but he's a U.S. citizen now and
Okay.
waiting. He's got to get over his COVID and test negative before he can fly out and come. He owns a house in Texas.
So he's got COVID now too.
Yeah. He
Oh.
tested positive for it.
Well,
Twice.
the thing is there's 200 symptoms. Pick one.
I know. That's what I told him.
I know somebody else.
Well,
who
that
has-
ain't nothing. He was talking to me last night or night before on Born TV After 9, right? The police showed up at his door
Ooh,
because he tested positive in that little village. He has to put a sign on his door that says, I have COVID.
Hmm.
That's the crap you got to put up with over there in the UK.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it
Luke
doesn't
is
get that bad over here.
Well, that's why Luke became part of the Bill of Rights Network, telling everybody the laws over in the UK. If you don't watch what happens around here, this is exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah,
It's
we're
over
hop,
there.
skipping, and jump from that. So
I mean, when he first came on, we always joked about over in the UK to watch television, you had to pay for a TV license.
wow.
And if you don't pay it, the TV police show up at your door to see if you're hooked up to watch TV.
Oh wow. I know he
Yeah.
mentioned that he couldn't play guitar after 11 o'clock, or they would come after him too.
Yeah, if he played guitar after 11 p.m., the police would knock on his door to give him a ticket.
Are the walls that damn thin?
I'd be in more than Facebook jail because I get up at 2 and 3 in the morning and play.
Oh, that's because you don't go to bed.
No, I don't go to bed about 1 o'clock. Now, when I lay down for a little while and I start thinking about a melody, I'll get up and try to figure it out.
I got to block my first person.
Oh, man. Frank's
Well-
being quiet down there.
What?
Frank's being quiet.
Well, that's unusual.
You know, you should take the blessings as you get them.
Well, when I'm sick, he's the one I get to come on with me because I don't have to say a thing. All I gotta do is say, "Go for it, Frank."
Oh yeah, I'm pretty solid for that. Denise will just say something. I'll carry the hour.
Right.
This doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. We've had you on here before. I know how you get to talking, which it's great because you got a lot of information.
Off switch is broken.
You
I
didn't
can't
come with
fix
an off
that.
switch.
So the main reason I wanted Dan on here was for him to meet Rex so that they would feel like that they might know each other a little bit. And I
Right.
think that Dan would be a great guest with a lot of information to share with Rex and Shane.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
I enjoy that.
So, and I think everybody would enjoy some of your stories, especially, some of the stories you've told me about Porter Wagner and his daughter and other things like that have just been interesting as heck when I listen to your stories about all the stuff that you've done. And then I did tell people your son is an astronaut, so you have some interest in what's going on in our skies. And,
yeah, he works for NASA in Houston. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome.
Wow.
Because I want to go down there and see and visit him.
Well,
I
wanted him to be a bass player, but he couldn't. He just didn't want it. He wanted. I mean, there you go. You can't have everything.
Well,
No, he's having a good time. He's working on a project now where him and 2 or 3 other guys are figuring out how to get back to the moon. They're going to go back to the moon in, I think, 2020.
Did I just go back to 1965 or something? What the hell?
I was getting ready to say the same thing. They're trying to figure out how to get back there. It's called getting a rocket ship and fly.
I know. Well, there's a complicated story about that. I can't really tell you about it now, but they did a different. They've changed all of their rocket motors and stuff around now. Most of them are made to do interstellar. Made to do just around the Earth. Travel. They're not made to go to different planets. So they've got to come up with a different way now with the materials they have now to. And they want to build a base on the moon and eventually launch from the moon to Mars, stuff like that. But it got back.
Okay, here we go. Since 1965, this is all I've ever heard. And I have got magazine after magazine after magazine going back to 65, touting how we're going to go to the moon, we're going to build a base, and it's going to be a launching point for Mars and the other stars and stuff like that. And just like so many things we've been promised, all we're getting is little toys that crawl around the surface of Mars by remote control, taking pictures and soil samples.
Yeah,
Trillions of dollars have been poured into this.
A lot of it has to do with money. About what a lot of times they get cut. If there's a war or something, NASA will get cut usually, which is dumb, but they'll get cut before anybody else will. And they should be the ones that be getting the money to help, figure out how we can put some proper things in the air to utilize. Right now, but like I say, they're the first ones to get cut.
They are.
It's a shame.
Well,
yeah.
I wonder if it helps having SpaceX pumping money into all this stuff.
All right, now I'm going to be fair here when I say this. There's a difference between launching what you would call payload into near-Earth orbit and outer space, which is what's required to make it to the moon. There's a difference. Right. But, we did it 6 times? Mm-hmm. And we did it with technology, which is today considered ancient. And quite honestly, you're suspect as to why they just simply don't throw everything into the package and go. We had this on the drawing board with the space shuttle program, and they just never pulled the trigger on it.
I was hoping during the space shuttle program they would, because they had that arm that they could have taken some type of machine up with, fuel on it and set it up there and let it fire its own rockets and go. That's what I was hoping for.
Right.
Yeah, now all we got to show for all of our decades of effort is a heck of a lot of space junk up there that we're just kind of guessing is going to come down and bop us on the head.
Well,
a lot of
people see that. Yeah, a lot of people see it in the sky and go, look at that. What is that? And it's space junk burning up because it's coming in our atmosphere.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of people see falling stars and stuff like that, which used to be comets and stuff coming in. Some of that is space stuff that comes in. Takes a long time to come down, but when it does come in, it flames out. So,
which, by the way, I would like to add, some folks are mistaking for UFO footage, which is right now on YouTube, and they're claiming it's evidence. And I swear people should get an education, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
Well, we have a special guest in our chat room. It looks like it's Cousin Dan's son.
Wait a minute, the Cousin Dan's son?
This is my cousin Dan. This is his son.
His son, who's the astronaut, is in. the chat
So-
room over here.
So
welcome.
I don't know, couple times removed, cousin Dan.
That is awesome.
May have to check that.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's always interesting when you look at all that stuff. But I think a lot of the space shuttle stuff went by way of the wayside when it exploded. They didn't want to take that responsibility anymore.
That
Also, it became extremely expensive to keep sending up a shuttle.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. And they always would have to replace the tiles, always have to. It gets the same kind of go over that, commercial aircraft does each and every time it makes a trip. And it just simply got too expensive for NASA.
Yeah. It's
Well,
just
you look at what Elon Musk has sent up all them little satellites for the internet. We got hundreds and hundreds of them up there right now.
Yeah, how are we going to get through those when we go to the moon?
Yeah. Dodge them.
And they're moving at about 17,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So, you're playing a game of dodgeball up there.
Right. You look to the right, look to the left. Here comes one, hit you. Boom.
Yeah, they have to calculate for that. Yeah. And collisions do take place.
I can't even imagine. I can't imagine actually ever going up higher than an airplane. I just,
you get me 25 feet up in the air where I'm looking down. There's nothing under my feet except the tree limb, and I just can't handle it. So I'm not good with heights at all. When I would get up on the house here, it's only about 20 feet high at the back, and I would get up to put up Christmas lights, and I couldn't handle that, man. So I don't do it anymore.
No, I hear that. I'm not great on heights either, which is ironic because when I worked all those years in demolition, I was doing high work all the freaking time. And,
was that because you were high?
I wish I was high. It would have made it go by so much better. But, I would be 80 feet up in a cherry picker, slicing away at conduits and piping and trying to strip walls and stuff. And, you just prayed that nothing ever really struck your cherry picker because you got nowhere to go.
That's right. Yeah.
There's nowhere to tie off to. You got nowhere to go.
Well, with Dan, he always has someplace to go. It's always down.
Gravity is a what.
Yes, it is.
I saw a guy once. We were doing construction job. I was doing some insulation work and around an air conditioning system, and I believe it was Bethesda, Maryland, and we were on top of this bank, and it was like 4 or 5 stories high. It wasn't really super high, but the wind really picked up, and there was a guy that worked there, and he was a muscle builder. So before he could pick up something, he would have to get his arms ready, and then he could pick it up, and he'd put it on his head. So he picked up a sheet of plywood one day, and he got it up there and got it just right. And about that time, the wind picked him up and carried him. So he.
You see, now Mythbusters, an episode of Mythbusters says that's impossible.
He landed in a swimming pool. He didn't go very far, but he landed in a swimming pool across the street from the. Yeah.
He's
on top of the house, and it went.
Never heard a guy scream like that before, but.
Like a little girl.
Yeah, he was a big guy. I mean, he's not one of these guys you want to laugh at either.
No, but that's why when you're working a job site, about the only entertainment you get is watching what the new guy is going to do, because the new guy is going to be the one to pick up and think he can pick up the plywood and carry it in high winds, and it's just funny to watch it all work itself out.
Yeah, or he'll see somebody pick up 3 or 4 cinder blocks under each arm, and he'll try that.
Oh yeah. It's fun to watch the young ones.
No, we all learn as we get older. But so.
Well, how many people here have seen a ghost?
We'll probably say everybody.
See, there's one calling right now.
Yeah.
But you see, now, thank you for bringing that up. This past weekend, I was doing a Comic-Con here in Youngstown, Ohio, and I'm traveling the country doing my DV-backed presentation. It's all paranormal to me. And one of the things I love to do is I love to send the audience away feeling uncomfortable or having a hard time falling asleep. And I like to account for them. You know, in the book, I describe my encounter with a full-bodied apparition and my wife's encounter with a full-bodied apparition. And they appeared to myself and my wife as real as you and I, even with bad breath and odor. And I asked my audience, given this, how are you so sure you have not already, maybe today, encountered a full-bodied apparition or had a conversation with one?
Yeah, I never had a conversation, but I heard one. Yeah.
I've seen a full body apparition in color, and I've seen one in black and white. Now, the full color one looks just like a real person. It was a friend of mine that had just passed away. I was down helping his wife do the floor that he didn't get to do. And when she walked out, I turned, and there he's standing in his blue jeans and t-shirt that he always wore, waving at me.
Oh, wow.
And then he just vanished. I mean, it seemed like he was there 10 to 15 seconds. But after that, he just vanished. I took it as he was letting me know everything's okay.
Yeah.
Now was that like in 1963 or 64? Because a lot of ghosts didn't start coming out in color until about 66 or 67.
No, this was like 3 years ago. It could have been back in, but
Technicolor ghosts.
Yeah.
That's only on TV.
I remember when I was did you ever go, Denise, did you ever go to the house in Richmond, Virginia where Aunt Minnie lived?
I think I did. I seem to recall that back. I would have to say it probably had to be like 70. Mom lived there. My dad took me there. My mom lived there when she left my dad back in 73. So they took me in 74. I remember standing on her front porch.
Well, you know the place, and you know it's like a mile and 3/10 back in the woods. It was the only thing back there. That little place, and it had really low doors. The Indians built that place. It was built out of logs to start with, and then they put boards over top of all that, and they made a regular-looking house out of it, but the doors were really short. And I asked my uncle one time why the doors were short, and he said that was to hold in the heat, you know, because the rooms would stay warmer with shorter doors. So, but they had an outside well. You know, we used to have to go outside and pump water. And I was about 9 years old and had my first little banjo, and I was sitting out there playing a little bit. My uncle was singing, and he worked for the city of Richmond, so he had to go in. It was like 12 o'clock at night. And he said, I got to go to bed. I got to get up tomorrow and milk the cows and all this jazz. So anyhow, I was sitting out there playing the banjo, and I stopped, and I heard it sound like a woman singing. And I looked around and I found it, and way over in the woods, it was across a freshly plowed field. Hadn't even been disked yet. It was just plow rows, big old clump. And so anyhow, I saw this woman standing there, looked like a female in a wedding dress. And so I set the banjo down and I started to cross the field. I didn't know any better, you know. And I was looking down at the clump so I wouldn't trip. And by the time I got to where she wasn't there anymore. She had went in the woods down over the bank, and she was at the bottom of the hill. So I don't, you know, in Virginia, when you back in the woods like that, those leaves can get up almost to your waist if you're a kid. So I was wading through those, and by the time I got to the bottom of the thing where she was supposed to be, she was not there. She had crossed the stream, and she was up on top of a big rock. And she looked at me and turned and walked away. And I always wondered what it was. So the guy that owned the property said that a man and woman came through there from somewhere off the coast, and they were murdered there. I think they wandered into the place they shouldn't have been, and they got murdered. And he thinks maybe that was the wife, you know. That was the first one I ever saw. And it, you know, being in a white dress and everything, I couldn't tell if it was black and white or color, because that was in 60 or so. So it was probably black and white.
Yeah. But I couldn't help but notice he set down the banjo first before approaching her, which kind of tells me that even he didn't think a dude looked cool with a banjo.
No, not at that time. I did. Well, if you look back at String Bean, Dave Aikman,
Mhm.
that was not a cool look back in them days. So,
No.
But it was a trendsetter. I saw that kind of clothing a little bit later on in life. Every now and then I see people doing that today.
No, Flat and Scruggs were the original, boy toys.
Well, you want to know something? Flat and Scruggs and the Foggy Mountain Boys. My mom lived at the bottom of Foggy Mountain.
Yeah.
So there's just some weird thing. And well, Dan's brother lives near the bottom of Foggy Mountain.
Yeah.
So
And
there you go.
Yeah.
It's Chad. He got Facebook blocked or Facebook jail, so
Yeah.
Chad had to change his name.
Yeah, he had to go under his other account.
Jack me off, huh?
Yeah, it's like Jack Me Off. Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured it out, Denise.
yeah. So
I've been Facebook jail a few times.
I have never actually. I have once,
I've never been in it.
just once, and I forgot. Oh, it was for saying something about if one death is too many for COVID, why is one death not enough for the shot?
Right.
And I was in there for 10 days for saying the God's honest truth.
Yeah, well, usually I'll write those cute little things and put them with a little background thing and post them on my website, or post them on Facebook. And then if you answer someone's question and you don't answer it the way they want you to, they'll turn you in. Well, when they turn you in, that's when you go to Facebook jail. I've never been to Facebook jail for posting what I write myself, just what other people send me and say, here, post this, and I'll post it. Next thing you know, they've got it blocked or,
Right.
Well, Robert Mitchum's son, Jim Mitchum's a friend of mine, and he's really gung-ho on a lot of things, and he'll send me stuff, and I'll post it, and the next day I'll find it's been blocked,
Yeah.
Well, that's like I've never been in Facebook jail. Bill of Rights Network on Facebook has never been in jail, but our YouTube got put in YouTube prison.
Oh, wow.
It got taken completely and banned completely out.
I've not been to YouTube prison yet. I'm sure I'll get there one of these days.
You don't want to go to YouTube prison because your YouTube channel is gone permanently.
And you don't want to.
And it makes a hard time for you to create another one.
Oh,
And
wow.
not to mention getting all your stuff back if that's the only
That's
place.
why right now we're on my Paranormal Nation Radio YouTube channel. But if you go there, it says the Bill of Rights Network.
Yeah.
They let me change that part, that they wouldn't let me change my picture on it.
Was that the episode we were all talking about breastfeeding and Denise gave us a little more than graphic representation?
No.
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 Vincent
Must
got
have
his
missed
put
that one.
into jail, and then
So you guys got
he got to talking about COVID and
Well,
how
I
to fix
No.
COVID and all that. And they didn't like that. They did not like that.
I had COVID. That was one of the reasons I got in Facebook jail. I had COVID and I came back talking about it. And I had mentioned that one of my band members got COVID and he had sent off and got some hydrochloroquine or something. And
Yeah.
Hydroxychloroquine with you.
yeah, the other guy didn't get any of that, and he died. And I still have my bass player. He's the one who got that stuff, took it for 3 days, and he's.
If I was a little baby, I'd have hydroxychloroquine in my sippy cup.
Pastor Gary just got out of Facebook jail. He was in Facebook jail.
What in the heck did he say that got him in Facebook jail? He's a minister. Oh,
I know.
The truth. That's it. He said the truth.
That's what it was.
A friend of mine was a minister, got in jail for holding up a bottle of tonic water because the tonic water has hydrochlorine, and it has quinine in it.
So is that
So
that's
that's-
that tonic water you were telling us about?
Yeah.
I saw it at Walgreens.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it at Walgreens. Yeah, it's called. What is it? I can't remember the name of it now.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. That's right. But it has hydrochloride and it has quinine in it, and both of those are hydrochloroquine. But he was just holding up a bottle, and they blocked him for like a week. And when he come back on, I said, "What happened?" He said, "Don't ever take a picture and put it on your Facebook of tonic water, because
No.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk? Well, here's my water. It's got fiber in it. That's it. Because the medicine they put me on, I'm allergic to. So I got to take the fiber to keep that out of my system.
I like water too. Every now and then I put a little scotch in it, but I like water. It's
There you go.
Good for you.
You like flavored water?
Yeah, flavored water, Scotch flavored water.
Yeah.
Ron likes his bourbon with no water.
Yeah.
Neat.
I like to mix mine a little bit. If I don't, I get like acid reflux at night or something. Don't get that with a beer, but I get it with anything else. So.
And I'm the opposite way around. I can drink the whiskeys and different things like that, but after 3 beers, I get real bad heartburn.
Oh yeah.
Real bad.
I don't get that anymore since I had the surgery. No. That's good.
They just told me to quit drinking beer. I can drink all the whiskey I want and mixed drinks, so I'm good to go.
So Dan, you want to tell everybody about your band?
Well, I've got a group called the State Line Band, and there's a couple of groups I found out called the State Line Band. So I had to change the State Line Band of Tri-Cities. So anyhow, we just play classic country, and we play some bluegrass and stuff like that. And the little instrument that I made, I use it in there to play lead with. It's sort of a cross between a steel guitar and a banjo, and so it
Dude, you should never call it a little instrument. That's good.
So it gets that steel sound.
Oh, that sounds great.
So anyhow, we play music, and I use that in that, and I use a bluegrass banjo in there too. And my wife sings in a band. She can't be down here because she has a colonoscopy tomorrow.
Oh.
So she's she's getting ready for that. So.
Yep, she's definitely busy.
Yeah, she's running back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Rex, I think you would want to have Kitty on too if they decide to sing anything, because Kitty's got a wonderful voice.
Absolutely.
So,
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
so
she's a sweet lady.
Yeah.
She's the first woman I was really in love with. I've been married a couple of times, but she's the only one I ever really loved. And of course, still do. I love her more now than I did when we got married. She's my Dixieland delight. That's what she is.
I still remember the story you said when you met her. You said, "Man, I want her. I want her now. I'm going to do everything I can."
And I almost told her that, but it wouldn't have worked out if I had.
No,
so
probably not.
I used a little finesse.
You were creepy at that point.
I'm usually like a bull in a china shop, but I did use a little finesse with her, and it worked out. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I love Miss Kitty.
Yeah, she's cool.
She is fun, and she's always. I've never seen her without a smile on her face.
She's short.
Yeah, like I said, she makes me feel tall, and I love it. I mean,
yeah, we miss you and Ron around here. Y'all need to come back more often when you can get out of town.
Well, we're planning on doing that because, like I said, we want to do something to where we get Donna and them down, and Judy, and so they can all see Aunt Belle. Hopefully,
right.
not for the last time, but at least all together to see her once while she's still alive.
We were at the hospital yesterday from 9 o'clock until 3.
Yeah.
And they were full of people, so we were in the hallway in IC. And finally, about 3 o'clock, I took her in because she had a tummy ache, and they asked her what was wrong. She said, well, my back hurts, my arm hurts, and my chest hurts. So they started checking her heart. So they never got around to checking her tummy. But anyhow, I told them as I left, I said, we're going to have to go. She's 96. We've been here this long. And I said, I need to take her home. So anyhow, she's not doing really well. She's got a lot of tummy problems right now. Takes her about an hour to eat an egg and a piece of toast.
I remember. I kind of remember.
What kind of pain is she having? Is it
Mom doing that?
like sharp or in one spot or?
Well, I'm not sure. She can't really describe it, but I know she is. She's doing some throwing up, and sometimes it's dry heaves, and sometimes it's just phlegm, like you have, in your lungs or something. And because she don't have a whole lot of food in her, I mean, she can eat a little bit of something. And they gave her some medicine to take today, and she ate a piece of a Kit Kat before she took the medicine, and 10 minutes later she was holding her head over a bucket. So we're gonna have to find out what it is. I've got to take Kitty to her doctor appointment tomorrow, and then sometime this week I've got to get a hold of Mom's doctor and try to get her in there again, and have
her check for GERD, GERD. My wife went through a whole litany of this BS, and it's usually an upper GI infection of some kind that affects the inner lining of the GI tract. Yeah. And and it makes its way through the duodenum into the lower part of the stomach, and nothing goes right.
Right. I bet you're right. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and it's one of those can't get a glove on it things. It might be this, might be that, and they're going to play these little games. Going to have to go through the endoscopy and BSBS, but it's treatable.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean that's basically what I had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they took her off aspirin. They took her off blood thinner. They took her off even omeprazole. Omeprazole is supposed to cure that stuff, or
Yeah. But you see, and this is what my wife went through, is that she was on that. And when you see, there's no little dingy that goes off when it says you're well. So people take this kind of stuff. She's on warfarin now. You end up taking this stuff after it's no longer necessary, and the doctors don't really monitor you.
Right.
And so it starts hurting you.
Yeah.
And causing a new litany of problems.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you something that hopefully you can get at the store down there. It's called papaya enzyme. And it's a little chewable thing. And every time we have a little bit of reflux or anything, we eat one of those and it's gone. And when I tell my doctor about this, they look at me like, really? That works that fast? And I'm like, yeah, it works very fast. And it's all natural. And it's not going to interfere with any of her other medications that she's taking. And it's relatively cheap. And it's better for you than Tums.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Much better.
It doesn't build up.
Sometimes it's the littlest things, that, So I'll be glad to get them.
I just want her to be feeling well. I want her to enjoy what's left. I mean, 96 is amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
I remember when my mother, and you probably remember this too, I remember when she was 82, and when I would play the banjo, this woman would get up at 82 and dance all over the place. And, some people in their 60s, because I'm 68 and I couldn't do it. But she dancing all over the place, having a ball. She can't do that anymore, unfortunately. But she did go with us to the show. We went we played a place called Boozy Creek the other night, and she was out there with us doing this number. So, she was having a good time.
Hey, on a related topic, I got to apologize to y'all. I'm not my best. You probably notice I'm not talking as much as I normally do, but and I'm coughing a lot. But that's because today was my day to wash the cats, and my tongue is killing me. So.
Hey, Frank, I noticed you're called Mr. Bennett since you had your birthday recently.
Something new.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know if I need to call you Mr. Bennett from now on.
Only if you're sitting at attention.
Only if he's getting up close and personal.
Right.
Yeah, throw the cats in the pool.
How close?
Yeah. Throw the cats in the pool when they need
Hey,
a bath.
Hey, do you remember Second City TV
Yes, I do.
Mhm.
when
John
they used to do the 3D effect?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got a cat, and Denise has met him, and he ate up one of her phone cords one night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I had to go get another one in Sevierville. That was the first place we finally stopped after. Well, we stopped at Bojangles to eat, and then
Oh, it was a phone charger.
yeah, it was the phone charger, and we stopped at the Walmart there in Sevierville to get one. So I managed to stay charged that long, and it was a new phone with a different charger. So Dan didn't have an extra one. I just lucked out.
Yeah, I used to give him spaghetti noodles all the time. So any cord that's white, he thinks it's a spaghetti noodle, and he'll tear it up, man.
Yep. Guess what?
Don't
My
show
cords
up
are
with anything
now.
white.
I saw that on Chevy Chase's Christmas vacation. I saw that. This could turn out very poorly.
Yep. Now I have
That's
black
right.
cords.
Yeah, he liked
she's
green.
having
didn't
a
he?
panic attack.
Well-
She's like, oh my God, if I run out of battery, I'll have to talk to you.
No,
Oh,
I
I
was
won't have
working.
nothing to do.
I was working in the car.
You got a white cord. Look.
Yeah, I got a white cord.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
stay
cat's
keep
not
it away
down
from
here.
this
He'd
cat.
be jumping the screen. If he was down here, he'd be jumping the screen right now.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, it's been what we're doing here. What, 50 minutes, and I have yet to see one cat walk across Denise's
Exactly. I was getting ready to say, where's our paranormal cats?
Well,
He's been in here. He just didn't get up on the.
one kind of got locked in the basement last night accidentally.
On
She'll come
purpose?
down with a couple of them will come down with me every now and then, but I completely forgot if she was down there when I left.
I'm rather right sure there are folks who've been watching this who are placing bets.
Yeah.
Which cat's going to walk across my lap?
Where are the cats?
Or
Yeah, how
whatever
much
that was
kitty
gonna
junk are
come
we going
in.
to see in one episode? Yes.
I
that.
just fed them, so they're still eating.
Yeah, last night
Oh.
I had to keep pushing one down because she kept wanting to put her butt right in the screen. I'm like, no, I ain't doing this crap with you.
Mhm.
Yeah, what is it with cats, anyways?
It's like, what is it? I mean, why do nobody wants to see that.
Mm-mm.
I don't want to see it when I have to clean up everything. I just don't want everybody else to see it. So,
And why do cats, you're sitting there watching TV, why do cats always park between you and the TV and decide to lick their units? What's up with that? I mean,
They
you
like
couldn't
to
do it
be
over
seen.
here. You couldn't lick your, paw, but no. You have to do it when Jeopardy's on.
Hey, I got a dog that does the same thing. I'll sit down in the recliner. She'll come out of her kennel and lay down right in front of me and do all that. And I'm like, really? You can't do it in the kennel?
My cat will, if I have a bad
believe in
back, and if I
mine.
turn over at night and I groan, this cat will be in the living room from somewhere. See, if he hears me groan, he'll run in there, and first thing he does is jump on the bed and then on my chest, and sticks his nose in my face, right close to see if I'm okay,
Mhm.
and he'll stand there for like, I don't know, it seems like forever because his little paws are sinking down into my rib cage, and then finally he'll walk away, So I try not to groan too much at nighttime. If I do, I know I'm going to be awakened by the cat. So
Yeah, when you said that, you took me way in the Wayback Machine, because in medieval folklore, there used to be a real heebie-jeebie about cats doing that because it was believed they were stealing your breath.
yeah. I've heard that.
They had
I raised
also
a
believed
bottle,
that
so
they're
some at
sensing
home.
some medical situation with you when they do that.
Yeah, they're checking you out.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
know about that. I know we had a Siamese cat I always hated, but
Yeah.
I had a baby sister and I'd go in and check her in her bed, especially after she'd had the bottle and stuff. And I caught that Siamese cat on top of her licking that milk and
Yeah.
almost sucking the breath out of her because you'd hear her go like
That's a
that.
scary thing.
Yeah, that cat banged off I don't know how many walls when I grabbed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not like that cat.
Yeah, I don't care for Siamese cats that much.
Oh no, that one there, it had an attitude.
Most of them do.
All of them do.
Gratitude.
Yeah, we got a chocolate
Yeah.
Siamese, and they get up on the fireplace. If you stare at them, they'll come right down at you.
Yeah.
They ain't afraid
Well,
of nothing.
They used to be the most coveted breed in the world, by the way.
Yeah.
And now the
Beautiful
Sphinx
cat.
are.
The Siamese.
Yeah, but now the Sphinx are. Everybody wants the
Yeah.
hairless cats.
Oh yeah,
Right.
they want them
I
damn
mean-
hairless cats.
I like my black hairy cat.
I get a
I-
hairy
we
cat
don't
up
pick
here,
our
it's going to
cats, they
freeze
pick
in the winter.
us.
Yeah, our cats find us.
Yeah.
We don't know where they come from. They just show up at our house one day and surprise, you got a cat.
Mhm.
I like to screw with my cats. I keep changing the location of the food in the litter box.
Well, if they start eating out
Is
of the
that a
litter
good
box,
thing or a bad thing?
I let them out in the morning. I swear to you, they start around the corner. And honestly, one stands right there and looks at me like, and you can really tell his face. It's a what the hell kind of look.
Yep.
I mean, damn, what the hell, Dad?
What the hell did you do that for?
So Dan, I know you've got to go practice for your event coming up on the 28th, your show.
They'll be beating the doors down in a minute.
Well, I know that your friends are all coming over to practice. So I'd like to thank you so much for coming on. And like I said, I hope you and Rex can get together and figure out a time where you can be on his show, where you can talk all music all night. And I know you know all about movies too. Rex, if you haven't seen Thunder Road, I suggest you watch it.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I
Well,
was
then
gonna say,
Dan,
I'm sure you've seen
Dan
it.
knows everything about it because his dad was a moonshine runner.
Yeah. And well, James Mitchum, that was a mechanic in there, is a good friend of mine too. So
There you go.
speaking of band people, here they come. Well, thank you all for having me. We'll talk to you a little bit later.
All right.
Okay,
See you,
Dan. Come back
Be
Nice to
anytime.
meet you. There'll be another
All right.
day.
Love you. Talk to you later.
Love you. Bye.
Man.
That was awesome.
So Rex,
Yes.
you think you got a guest there?
Do I? Where?
Yeah. Do you think you got a guest out of Dan?
Oh yeah. I'm like, what? Is the cat in here? What the hell?
Yeah, you can do
No,
it too.
so far we're
Yeah.
catless.
You two could do a 2-hour show with no
Now you got
problem.
them paranoid.
Oh,
There's a ghost in the room or something, or like a
There
demon or
probably is.
I just thought that he would be a good guest because he could talk about a lot of different things.
Well,
And
you know,
once he gets going, he's like he's like a old Southern Baptist minister. He'll just keep going. So
because he mentioned Dottie West, and I was at the Snake River Stampede, which is a huge rodeo in Idaho, and she was coming around the arena. She was on the Budweiser Clydesdale thing, and she was coming around, and I jumped up there and got far enough over that she actually stopped and gave me a kiss.
well, Dottie West, she did a song called no, that was may have been Lacey J. Dalton, but I thought she did a song.
Not a clue.
Crap, I can't remember the name of it suddenly. But I know she was really popular back in the 70s.
Oh yeah. Oh shoot, yeah. But you see, I told you a long time ago. My dad really liked Elvis until he saw him on TV. Then he hated him, and I feel the same way about Madonna. Dottie West, who was cranked out a lot of hits. All I did was see her once on Hee Haw in those jeans that were ratcheted up so damn tight that camel toe took on a whole new meaning for me. I cannot think of Dottie West without thinking of camel toe.
Well, you know what? I guess we should have brought up Hee Haw because, Brett, a bunch of his guitars and stuff were on that show, especially with Buck Trent. So
Not today while I was passed out.
Oh, that was different. He's found out today that while he was passed out, he had told the police he had had a heat stroke and didn't even remember seeing a policeman. Okay, so talking about Gary, and so, but yeah, we talk about Hee Haw every once in a while with Dan, and it's because he's got so much information on these people. When you hear about Porter Wagner. We went up to in Iowa. Okay, Porter Wagner played at Lakeside at the casino there. So I took a picture of Porter and I sent it to his daughter. His daughter lives in Springfield, Missouri, because that's where Porter Wagner is or lived. There you go.
Ta-da!
Well,
Yeah, there's the cat.
Keela.
It's one.
So there's one of the four. But he's got so many stories about this stuff. You know, he told me about jamming with Carl Perkins, you know, and Waylon Jennings and all this. I thought for sure that this was something that, well, it qualifies for music.
Oh, it qualifies for everything, because a lot of people, when they start talking about the old guitarists and old singers, a lot of these young people don't have no idea who we're talking about.
no.
You know, I met Roy Clark by accident up at Eagleville truck stop. I pulled in to get coffee in his bus at 2 o'clock in the morning. They was all in there eating breakfast. I got to meet them. You ask somebody about Roy Clark, and they'll go, "Who you talking about?" And I'm going to say, "That's a man. Give him an instrument, and he'll play it. It don't matter. He could play anything." So you're going to have fun with that. Just like Waylon Jennings, right? You'd be surprised how many people don't know Waylon. Just like, okay, Luke, for example, put in there earlier, go back through the chat room. Waylon, wasn't that the one that owned the chemical place out in Arizona? No. If you want to know Waylon Jennings and the most popular thing you'll know about him, listen to the Dukes of Hazzard.
Sorry.
The opening song, that's Waylon Jennings.
Or, you know what? If you don't know him, at least look up his son, Shooter.
Who?
Yeah.
Shooter Jennings.
Well, Waylon Jennings was the balladeer on Dukes of Hazzard.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you want to go back further, look up Buddy Holly, because Waylon Jennings played with Buddy Holly. He didn't get on the airplane. A lot of people don't know that.
Well, Rex probably does.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Rick.
when I was little, we had my mom and dad got everybody season passes to Six Flags because they had every country and western singer coming in and playing Six Flags. But what was it? Jerry
Reed.
Jerry Reed. Yeah,
He's found and down.
Yeah, he was actually pretty funny.
He's more of a comedian.
Yeah, he was. I liked him. He was pretty funny. But yeah, the other ones, could care less.
He was a hell of a picker. He really was. Now, when I way back in the 80s, when I was good looking and had a body, and I got gigs acting and doing bodyguard work, somebody who I had the distinct honor of getting to work with was Ricky Skaggs. And I knew nothing about Ricky Skaggs because I didn't own a TV.
You want to know what I know about him?
Huh?
I know that he was one of the worst personality person to meet at a bluegrass festival. He treated his fans like dirt.
He was always sweet to me. That's all I care about.
He lived down there near Pike.
Name one song.
Where my mom lived.
My job was just simply to escort the man safely from his trailer or bus to the stage and back, and not a lot of conversation, just, hey, great to meet you, hi and goodbye and all that. And I stood there while I was doing crowd control, watching the man. Anything you put in front of him, like you were talking before about Mr. Roy Clark, that man can play the heck out of anything you put in front of him. And he had 6 Mandicasters lined up on stage, tuned to a different key, and he just wailed away at all of them. It's just one of those things, you watch a guy do it and you think to yourself, I wish I could be like that. I wish I could do that.
I know. You listen to him and see him. See, I got lucky one time at a truck stop because I drove over the road for 20 years on my own trucks. And I was at a truck stop actually up in Wyoming, sitting there, and I was the only one in the truck stop early in the morning until some guys came in and they looked worn completely out. They come in, sat down, they got to talking, they walked up and said, "You a truck driver?" And I said, "Oh yeah, why else would I be in here at 2 o'clock in the morning? Aren't you guys truck drivers?" And they went, "No, you don't know who we are." And I looked at them and I went, I know who you are, but I can't think of the name of your band.
Yeah.
It was Confederate Railroad,
Mhm.
right? Their semi hauling their equipment broke down.
Mm.
They were on the way. They had to go 300 miles to get to the next concert. I
Mhm.
was empty. I dropped my trailer, hooked onto theirs, and hauled them, and got a contract for 1 year hauling them around.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh, great gig. Yeah.
I mean, I'd back up, open the doors. The guys would come pull all the equipment out. I'd pull up, shut my doors. I could either get in the sleeper or I could go backstage and watch the show. And
Well, I'm sure you didn't just watch the show. I'm sure there was what you would call overflow that would
right.
kind of make its way to you.
He's talking about female guests.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm in one of their videos.
Yeah.
The-
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, the one with Papa's Not the Cadillac Kind.
Hmm.
One of their band members was sick. If you watch it, you got to remember this is 30
Yeah, back when they
years
had
ago.
actually music videos.
Right. I
Yeah,
had real
exactly.
long, thick hair
Not
anyway
anymore.
and stuff, and a bigger, thicker mustache at that time, which matched up to one of their singers back, one of the group guys. I'm sitting on the bed on the back side, and you don't see me singing, but they move by Danny Shirley where I'm sitting behind him on the bed while they're singing. That was all right. It paid me an extra $1,500, so.
Well, why not?
Hey. But that was fun watching because that's when Danny Shirley actually cut his hair, was for that video.
Mm-mm.
They had to
Oh.
film it in 2 different sections.
We mentioned the Dukes of Hazzard, somebody who I never really had a high opinion of until I met him and got to work at his shows. I challenge you to find a nicer man. I honestly do. I'll pay you money if you can, but John Schneider.
Well,
And
she's gonna come up and she's gonna say, "You're right," because she
Yeah.
met him too down in Marshfield, Missouri.
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
And I watched,
Crush on him.
same deal with him, escort them safely to either the bus or whatever, to the stage and back again. And I stand all night keeping watch on the bus. And I watched their show, and I knew the man could kind of sing. I just had no idea how talented he was all the way around.
Yeah, I always watch Dukes of Hazzard every Friday night.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we all did.
Well,
Had to
Well,
watch
Yeah, he
it.
was 19 when he got that gig.
I knew he wasn't very old.
Mhm.
You know, when I think about it.
No,
So-
none of them were really. Only Uncle Jesse was the older one, but
This is what Dara has to say about John Schneider.
and he's
Yeah,
doing
I
a
dare you
lot
to find a
now.
nicer man anywhere.
He's a
Honestly, I've walked and talked with wrestlers and the likes, and quite honestly, it's you tend to remember who's been nice to you.
I thought he was
You
an
know-
actor. I didn't know he sang.
He's an actor that.
I was wondering why he wasn't acting.
Well,
anymore.
him and Tom Morpat both were started as musicians,
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying. Ready to
Oh.
tell him.
they were trawling around, Hollywood, Chicago, and all that, trying to get record deals. And you can't help but trip across a few casting
Yeah.
lines from time to time.
Well, that's like Vincent. He used to go around and set up stages and all that for a lot of the bands and everything. He was down in Texas, set up one time, and he's talking to one of the guys there. And while they're talking, this guy bumps him in the shoulder as he walks by. And the guy said, "Excuse me." And Vince turned around and looked, didn't think nothing about it. And the guy goes, "You knew who that was, don't you?" Vince goes, "No, it was George Strait
Oh yeah,
that
That's-
bumped into him.
oh, Lord.
He was doing his concert.
oh yeah.
That's why if you watch his show and he's got his little mobile down, those are the backstage passes and everything that he did shows for on there.
George Strait had a clothing line. I've actually got some of his shirts.
I'm not surprised.
He was a snappy dresser.
Well, talking about snappy dressers, Porter Wagner.
Mhm. That's a lot of glitter for me.
Yeah, what a blinded.
He was disco before disco was disco.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but he was
he's
country.
talented too.
I mean, that's what they did back in them days.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Hank Sr. for what he had. You know, he had some designs on his suit jacket and everything. That was starting all that. And then Porter got into it. He had to dress fancy because he had Dolly standing next to him.
Well, not to begin with, though.
No,
yeah, that took a little
but when
while.
Dolly got on there, everybody's eyes went to Dolly.
Well, why wouldn't they?
I know.
I mean, not to mention she's petite, she's beautiful. Her voice just draws you to her, and you can see in her eyes. And I know most of you guys didn't look at her eyes, but you can look at her
made it
eyes
there
and you can
eventually.
see that she's
eyes?
genuine. Yeah, she had eyes, and they weren't brown.
Yeah, but all we could think little like that, and when she'd pop out on the show and go, "Dang, where's them women around here like that?"
She's got some stories about Porter.
When I was,
yes, she does.
it's funny you bring it up because when I was, like I said, I started going to nightclubs and bars way too young, and after about a year, I started to get really noticed on the dance floor, and they were really trying to gin up talent for an up-and-coming act that competes with the Chippendales. And I had some lady who looked identical to Dolly Parton, build and all. I still remember to this day what she was wearing. Come to one of the clubs I was at with two male friends, and they were asking me to come down to I forgot I think it was called Stallions or something. I forgot the name of the club. They wanted me to come down and dance at that club professionally. And I was 17. I couldn't have done it if I wanted to.
So
I know. That's
I was
like
asked
those
to
exotic legends.
be, I was asked to be a stripper back then, but I couldn't dance worth a crap.
Well, that was the cool thing about it.
Okay,
it would have been, and like the Chippendales, you wouldn't have had to take anything else off.
Yeah, my cousin was a Chippendale, which you're going to meet Robbie.
Oh, I am.
He's probably not going to look like he used to be a Chippendale.
He probably looks
Not
like
now.
he probably looks like he ate Chippendale now.
Yeah, I don't dance because I look like a in tennis shoes. So God didn't build me to be a dancer. That's for damn sure.
Nah, wasn't my thing.
I danced a lot when I was younger, but I was also drunk when I did it. So your feet go everywhere.
Well, it's just really weird to be a 16-year-old kid and to walk across the dance floor and talk to people sitting at a table, and they tell you, well, we drove down from Jersey to watch you dance. That screws with your head quite a bit, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
That could be also disturbing.
Yes.
I thought that. But you see, you're young
I don't
and
know
dumb.
if that's a compliment or
He was 16 going, really?
Did they know how old you were?
No,
Okay, that's
Okay.
probably why.
no.
Because I know, like, Mom took me to the Club Snafu or Snafu Club. They're in Baltimore. It was in Essex.
They didn't go to
Right.
Stallions?
No, it was right off. It was right off Back River Neck Road. Okay, she took me there, and she knew. Well, she was with me, so she knew I wasn't going to drink. And my mom was only a soda drinker anyway. Here I am. I'm 12 years old, and I'm dancing with people, and none of them know I'm 12 years old because I looked like I was at least 18. So it's not good.
No.
But I had fun time. But when some guy tried to manhandle me, he found out real quick how old I was.
Mama Hen really came out, didn't she?
No, I just looked at him and said,
I'm 12.
I'm 12.
And he went, oh my God, 20's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, back then, of course, it was the gas crisis was going on too. So he had to walk home.
I don't think I'm unreasonable.
Haven't changed, have we?
I don't think
Got a
I'm
shitty
being
president,
unreasonable when I
gas
suggest that girls of a certain age should at least wear something that says I'm under or over 18.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm unreasonable.
No, not at all.
No.
Now, Rex, you got to be ready when Dan comes on your show, because I know what Luke's going to ask him. He already.
Oh,
told
I do
me.
too. He told me to ask him.
Yeah, he wants to know what it'll cost for Dan to build an electric banjo and ship it to Joe Biden, because Luke will pay for it.
Yeah.
Because Luke goes, he's that little kid off.
The image of Joe Biden playing an electric banjo is funny as crap in my head. I don't know why.
I should draw a picture of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you actually
Yeah.
should.
Well,
But what's funny is this picture of Kamala Harris standing next to him, trying to figure out how to dance to it.
Oh, look.
I
Oh,
just
you're
imagine
giving Rex.
Yeah, you got Rex got some ideas now.
You got to remember, Rex is a hell of an artist.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
say he tried.
and-
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
I
nice.
know what's going to be the next picture up, and he'll auction it off on his show. There you go. That'll bring some
boy.
bucks in.
yep.
well, I'm just so
Because
glad you
I'd
guys
only
like
do
my
it once, and
family.
that'd be it.
Oh,
What
he
was
was
that?
great.
I'm just so glad you guys like my family.
Hey
Listen,
Rex,
I was
Yeah.
glad his son popped in.
I'm all caught up on your shows except I couldn't find the first one, and Denise said it was
We were naughty.
on Facebook. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
have
I'll have
Facebook,
to
but I can get on
upload-
YouTube. and
I'll
watch
upload it on YouTube for you.
it. Okay, I can watch all the replays. But
Right.
man, that movie, that Bubba.
Hotep.
Bubba Hotep.
Oh my! I never heard of that, and you guys are talking about. I was laughing my ass off just hearing about the movie. It sounds funny as hell.
Oh,
It's because it's so
Bruce
ridiculous.
Campbell. It's,
I never heard of him, but I don't.
He's done a lot of B movies, but he did the original Evil Dead,
Yeah,
and Sam Raimi directed it, and it's so over the top
yep.
and funny. That's
It
the first
sounds
time I've
hilarious.
seen him, and I have every movie he's ever
I
done.
can.
Yep. Yeah,
I've even got
sounded-
the Bubba Hotep action figure
Yep.
where he's in his Elvis outfit in his.
Have you heard of that movie, Frank?
What movie's that?
Bubba Hotep?
Nope.
See, I hadn't either.
It's
They were
hilarious.
talking about it, and I
No,
said,
I've-
yeah, I'm gonna
But
go
in my
seen it
defense,
a
I don't get
lot.
out much.
You probably seen it and don't
Right there.
recognize the name.
No, I've
He's in
never
a
heard of it.
nursing home.
Okay, I'm going to look that up.
He's
Yeah,
in a
I've never
nursing
heard
home,
of
it.
and one
It
of them
ain't
thanks
dirty,
to,
is it?
John F. Kennedy and another one.
I don't
And
want my wife to beat me.
I seen that a long time ago. It is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Mr. Kennedy, he was a white man. They
Yeah.
dyed me this color.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be looking that up. Mhm.
Oh,
There's-
yeah, you gotta look
It's on,
that up.
you know.
We have a huge list of, soon as things get worked out, we can start showing more stuff. We've got lists of movies that's why we started it, to let people know about music and movies that they should know about, but they don't. And Shane and I are looking every single day, finding more and more bands. He's found a bunch of bluegrass stuff, and with some of the funniest names of the groups. I couldn't even. I asked him, but he's got to do a class on Tuesdays, so he's got to be upstairs alone and nobody else around. He's doing his class upstairs, so,
Right.
which is part of his rehab. So
Well, you
Right.
need to
I
look up.
I got all kinds of stories for your show as far as music and that. I went to see Molly Hatchet 38 Special, and the opening band was a band called Jacksonville. We'd never heard of at the time or anything. I think they had 1 or 2 albums out. But if you closed your eyes, they sounded just like Leonard Skinner, but playing their own songs. Yeah, that's who they sounded like. But they
Well,
didn't last very long.
you heard my story last week.
Yep.
Because my first concert we couldn't get into, me and my buddy Scott Weaver, because you had to
But
be
that
18.
wasn't my first concert. I've been to hundreds.
Yeah, so have I. But this one, it was Cheap Trick with Molly Hatchet and 38 Special. And we wanted to get in there so bad, couldn't. You had to be 18 or older. So
Right.
we found a place to climb underneath the fence, and
Yep.
you know, we both looked like we were older than we were. We were only 16, and got in there and got to watch the concert. That was my first concert, and it was free.
Yeah. Yeah, my first one was Sammy Hagar opened for Boston. That's a nice first one.
I seen.
I don't count all the stuff we saw at Six Flags in that, because that was all
did
country crap.
meet a famous lady one time. I was living in Cobb, Connecticut. I was a school teacher and a nanny right after I graduated from college.
You were a nanny?
Yeah, for
Mr.
As big as he is, he
I
was a
figured
nanny.
Jacksonville was from Jacksonville.
Yes, and
That's where Arnold got that movie from, right?
that's
No,
exactly.
that was The Rock.
Royalties.
Or
They
The
owe me
Rock
royalties.
got it. Well, Arnold did
Yeah, that was
too.
what was that? Rock or Hogan? Who did that?
The
Mr.
Schwarzenegger.
Nanny.
Commissioner, that was yeah,
Mr.
Kindergarten.
I think it
that
was,
was
Hulk
Arnold, wasn't it?
Right
Mr.
now, I
Nanny?
got pro wrestling fans all across the nation yelling at me.
What?
So I was.
I'm sorry, country and western, both kinds. We play both kinds, country and western.
Hulk Hogan. It was Hulk Hogan.
I met Andre
Really?
the Giant once, and he scared the living crap
I
out of
met
me.
I met him too.
Yeah, that man was huge.
I
Yeah.
was getting ready to leave. I had been a nanny and a teacher for 3 years out on the coast, and I was a permanent substitute. So I would go to school with the boy that I was a nanny for every day, and most of the time I taught TESOL, teaching English as a second language, and I was getting ready to call it and go home, and we were out at a restaurant, and it was this big open restaurant, had palm trees and stuff, and there was a bar behind us. Well, one of the teachers also worked in the restaurant we were at, so he's taking our orders and stuff, and he goes, "Do you know who Andre the Giant is?" I'm like, "Who doesn't?" He goes, "He's sitting right over there at the bar." So I walked over there, and the man was bigger than me sitting down. His shoulders had to be this wide.
Mm-hmm.
His feet had to be this big. And the teacher that was the waiter said he would order everything on the menu. And he did drink at least 6 bottles of wine, if not more.
Yep.
So he's
And
sitting
then
at
he
the
was only
bar,
close.
and he was drinking White Russians. And all you could hear was, "Give me another one." And I'm standing behind him, and I'm scared shitless. And I finally walked over to the side of him, and I said, you know, I didn't know what to call him, you know, Mr. Giant, you know. So I said, "Andre, do you mind if I buy you a drink?" He goes, "Go ahead, sit down." You know, I've got a booming voice, but holy crap.
You're going me. He's going me like puny. Puny Rex.
Puny Rex.
And I did look puny standing next to that man, or sitting next to him.
Well, look at all the other wrestlers that were only 5'8" that had to go up against him.
Oh, I know.
What they
That's where
look
I
like.
met him. That's where I met him. Was in Blytheville, Arkansas, at a wrestling thing.
Yeah, I met him
Yeah,
at
I was,
Junction
Yeah.
City.
I don't know, it was about 20 minutes I spent with him, and bought him 3 White Russians, and we talked for a little bit. And nice guy. I mean, but the life he had and stuff, it's too bad because of all his health issues and stuff.
Right.
If you pulled over Andre the Giant,
What would you do?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, think about it. Darryl Brown from Live PD. You get pulled over by this guy. You know, big. His arms are bigger than my legs. You know,
Right.
he is huge guy, and everybody goes, "I remember when you were a little kid or a little guy." And then the guy
like,
he was never a
he was
little.
never little.
Well, the first thing is that Andre rarely ever was able to drive a car.
No, he
They
wasn't.
never made one where he could fit behind the steering wheel.
I was going to say.
And a lot of times they would have to take out the passenger seat so he could sit in the back seat and his legs could stretch out.
He was running with Bulldog Bob Brown and one of the other wrestlers in Junction City. They had a band. They took the seat out and put a cushion on the floor for him to sit in.
Yeah. Hacksaw Jim Duggan told me a bunch of stories about being on the road with him.
Because
You know what?
we went to the wrestling match there in Junction City when I was in the military and watched them wrestle. So we went out to a bar and everything. We're all sitting in there. All these guys got in arguments and fights in the wrestling match, you know, and all this stuff and everything. We're sitting in the bar. Here they come walking in, right? And we were on the front row. They recognized us. They come over. We're buying beers for them and everything. Andre gets up there. We've got mugs of beer holding them like this. He grabbed a pitcher and it shrunk in his hand. I mean, his hand covered that entire pitcher and he'd down it.
Lee Majors told me when I met him out in Las Vegas, because we got in that subject immediately. He brought it up about shooting that episode with Andre the Giant.
Oh,
And he told me that in between takes, Andre would sit there and put away 4 beers out of a cooler with the suit on. And that's light for him.
Oh, that's right. He
How
did
tall
play
was he?
Bigfoot, didn't he?
yeah, he did.
Yep.
He played Bigfoot.
Mhm.
Yep.
How tall
$6
was
million
he?
man.
7'4".
7'4". See,
Yep.
Yeah.
7'4", 495, I think.
I was
is
going to
what
say
he weighed.
well over 400 easy.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did break 500 at one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
when I first started watching him wrestle, because he wrestled for every wrestling organization you can imagine, he was able to walk the top rope, do drop kicks, all kinds of things.
Oh,
In
yeah.
the 70s, he was a different athlete.
Mm-hmm.
But did you ever see a picture of him with him and his wife?
Well, he was never actually married.
Well,
No.
whoever he was with, she was 5'2", and he'd hold her in
Right.
his hand.
Sounds like my uncle and my aunt. My Uncle Jack was 6'6", and my aunt was 4'9".
Well, that's kind of like my nephew. He's 6'4", and his first wife was 4'11". When I first met him, before they were still going to school dating,
Mhm.
and I walked out there with kids and my nephew, my niece that's younger, and all this and that. So I asked
Hi,
Katina,
Valerie.
I said, "Who's your little girlfriend?" And Craig goes, "No, that's my girlfriend. She's older than I am." And I
Well,
went,
by the way, if I might be allowed to slip this in real quick, I mentioned Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He ain't doing too good now.
That's
It'd be
what
good
I
for him.
heard.
Just keep him in your prayers and all that.
Right.
He's not in good shape.
he's got to be up there in age too.
He's in his latter 60s, but his
Yeah.
problem is he's had to have a lot of surgeries. He had to have a lot of things removed,
Yep.
and he's just not in good shape.
A lot of them old wrestlers like that, you look at what they did and what they went through,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's surprising that even when they were in their 50s, they could walk.
Yeah, Carl, you mentioned Bulldog Bob Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't follow wrestling at all. I had no clue. Well, when we had greyhounds, I was going out at the greyhound track here at the Woodlands all the time. I was out there a lot. He was a security guard out there.
Really?
Yeah, for years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after so many years, you know, you see the same people. You know, I had a lot of this, you know, knew a lot of the same, you know, a lot of people out there. And after a while, everybody just we'd all kind of have our own tables. Well, he'd come over there and talk all the time, and everybody's, "Hey, Bob, how you doing?" I mean, he's a cool guy. Years went by. I had no idea he was a wrestler.
Yeah.
Until somebody said, "Hey, that's Bulldog Bob Brown." And we're all like, I said, "Who in the hell is that?" They said, "Bob." I'm like, "This guy?" I had no idea.
Yeah.
I said,
Most of them
I
had
said,
regular
he's
jobs
one of our
because they didn't
friends.
get paid
So-
crap for wrestling.
No, they didn't.
No. I mean,
Welcome,
He
Valerie.
never said nothing. I guess he assumed everybody knew who he was. I guess everyone did. I didn't have a clue, and no one talked about it.
well,
He's
that's
a
just
nice
like
guy. I mean, he hung out with us and
you seen
talked
where
to
I
us all
went.
the time.
You seen where I went to grade school in Kingston, that brick building,
Yeah.
right? Okay, my class had 4 of us in it, me and 3 girls. The class underneath of us had 2 boys and 3 or 4 girls, and same thing above us, right?
Yeah.
We're in the 2nd, 3rd grade, I think, and one of the girls in the 2nd grade was having a birthday party. Well, she invited everybody in the 2nd grade and 3rd grade out there. Well, I'm the only boy that showed up
Oh,
out at this little house outside of Kingston. So I show up there. Her mom was super nice. I walk in, got her present and everything, and the lady looks around and goes, "You're the only boy that showed up." I went, "Well, Mom brought me out." She says, "Well, my husband will be home here in a little bit, and then he's got to go to his other job." I said, "Okay, no problem." This guy comes in. It looked like he was a mechanic or something somewhere. He had that gray uniform on,
yeah.
gray pants and gray shirt. He said hi to me and walked into the bedroom, said, "I'll be out in a little bit." He walks in, the girls are doing the party, and I'm listening and everything and doing all this and that. He come walking out of the bedroom, and my mouth hit the floor. He's in full Indian gear with a full headdress. In St. Joe, Missouri, they had wrestling on Saturday nights at 10:30 on Channel 2. It was Chief Wahoo McDaniels.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I looked at him and
Wahoo!
went, "I know you. I watched you tonight." So he said, "Watch on the show. When I get in the ring, I'll turn to the camera and I'm going to wave with both hands like this."
Mhm.
So I went home, told Mom and Dad, and Dad's going, "Yeah, right." And all this and that. And I said, "Well, wait until tonight. We'll watch the wrestling." He gets on there. Chief Wahoo gets up, steps in the ring. The announcer started to announce something. He went like that to the announcer and turned to the camera and went like this. And I went, "Told you what he was going to do." And Dad goes, "Where they live?" And I said, "Outside of town." "Well, I know that guy." I said, "That's him." He wasn't Indian, but
No.
he had the full gear for
Yeah.
up here at KQ2. Sonny Myers, that had the Ford dealership up in St. Joe, was a professional wrestler, and then he became the manager and owner of NWA and all this stuff.
Hey, Denise, you remember in the 70s they would have that Indian that for the ads for Don't Litter, and the Indian would show up and he'd cry. That guy was not an Indian either.
No.
No.
I think he was Italian or something, but he was not Indian either.
Yeah.
No, but he had the right skin color for the commercial. And that's bad. I mean, and where's these commercials now when I'm seeing all this pollution everywhere? People don't seem to care. Have you seen the interstates?
Well, now that's Putin's litter.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Right.
It's a previous administration.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I say.
Anyway, I was telling you when I was out on the East Coast, I was getting ready to fly back home for Christmas. So I went down to Greenwich Village, and there's a bunch of neat stores up and down Greenwich Village. And I always stopped at this one store, this jewelry store, and they had all these famous people that used to come in. Greta Garbo, Rock Hudson, you name it. They had all come in there, and they had pictures on the walls and stuff. And so I get out of my car and I'm walking down to hit a couple places, and I always stopped at this store. Well, I'm getting ready to go in, and there's this older little lady looking in the window, and I didn't pay much attention. I'm getting ready to go in the store, and she goes, "Isn't that piece right there beautiful?" And she turns and looks at me, and it's Betty Davis.
No sugar.
I looked at her and I said, "Oh my God, I love you. I've seen everything you've done." And she goes, "Oh, hell, you have not. I said, your first movie was of human bondage and you played a whore. And she goes, exactly right. And she actually just got done filming the movie The Whales of August.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked with her arm in arm up and down Greenwich Village for over 2 hours. And she smoked like a freight train and swore like a drunken sailor. And
Yep.
we had an amazing, amazing time because she had a home there in Greenwich, Connecticut. So I walked around with her, and I bought her a hot dog and a pop from the hot dog vendor on the street. And 2 hours I got to spend with her. She told me all kinds of stories and stuff, and fun, amazing woman. In my lifetime, I never ever thought I'd meet this woman, but I loved everything she's done. And so finally we get back to her limo, and her limo driver got out and made me look small. The guy had like one eye in the middle of his forehead. I mean, the guy was just huge. Well, he gets out, and I'd already opened the door up for her, and she turns and she gives me a hug and a kiss. And I said, thank you. I said, this is an experience of a lifetime for me. I said, you're my favorite actress. And she kissed me again, gave me a hug, got in the car, and then took off. And so I didn't even do any shopping. I got back in my car and I went home where I was living in Connecticut. And I had to call everybody. And I had more people go, well, did you get her autograph? And I thought about it when we got back to the car, but that woman didn't have to spend over 2 hours with me either.
Right.
And I would have felt wrong to ask her for the autograph. But
don't you wish you had a cell phone back then?
You would have felt weird.
I mean, so you could have at least taken a selfie with her?
If I had a cell phone, but they didn't have
You know
them
what
back
I mean?
then.
I know they didn't, but I said, don't you wish you could have had one back then?
I really do. And I can remember it just vividly because what an amazing woman. It was so funny. You don't know who the hell I am.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing. When you get to know these people as people, you don't even think about an autograph or a piece of memorabilia. You're just palling around with somebody. I don't have an autograph from Dawn.
Why would you? I mean, you had a personal relationship. That's worth a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have, outside of maybe a few pictures here and there, I don't have anything in my time with Dawn. Nothing.
But you have memories that other people aren't going to have. So
some I'd like to get rid of. Thank you. Yes. But you get to know all these people as regular people, and you don't even think about who they are.
No, I didn't. We got a lot of looks, here I'm 3 times the size of this little bitty woman.
Yeah.
And
you're probably much nicer than her to the public.
It was fun.
That's what's different about Betty Davis, though. She didn't care what the public thought of her.
No, she never did.
She did.
Dawn was constantly worried somebody was going to walk up and not see Mary Ann. So she was sweet to everybody except the people who knew her.
Man.
That's just not right.
No.
There's a lot of them out there like that.
No, I would love to meet Betty Davis. I love people who are just genuine themselves.
And
there's certain people,
absolutely,
that are in Kansas City are considered to be some of the best people in Kansas City, and they were assholes.
Oh, that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Tom Watson.
Yes.
He was a dick to me.
Yeah, he is.
And so was a famous baseball player here that everybody loves.
George Brett.
You said it, not me.
Okay.
Oh, he's the biggest asshole.
Mr. Pine Tar.
But the thing is I worked in this local drugstore, and it was in fancy part of Kansas City area in Prairie Village. And I waited on these people that came in there. The Marion, the people who own Marion Merrill Dow, the Kaufmans, So I knew them. I actually have clothes that Mrs. Kaufman gave me from her daughter still to this day.
Nice.
I can't get rid of them. I won't get rid of them. She treated me like I was special. I mean, I was only 19 years old, when I worked there. And I met Lee Lacey, basketball player for the Kansas City Kings.
Yep.
Nicest guy you ever want to meet, taller than Rex. And he would come into that store singing songs from the African Gospel Church down the road. And nobody was going to tell him he couldn't hold a tune.
Mm-mm.
But he was funny. He would come in to get his money orders and his stamps from our store every week to mail off something. I don't know what it was. But he was the nicest guy you ever want to meet. And Dan Quisenberry, he died from brain cancer.
Right.
His kids had chickenpox when we had a real bad winter storm. I had a 65 Impala. Guess what? I could drive through anything. So I delivered medication to their house on my way home from work. Tipped me very nicely for that. And it wasn't expected. I was on my way home and our delivery drivers had stopped because of the storm. So, like I said, just because you're famous doesn't mean you have to be a dick.
No.
Or asshole. Whichever one. Just because you have one doesn't mean you have to be one.
Exactly.
That's like when I lived in Connecticut, I used to get on the train and go into New York on the weekends because my cousin lived in New Jersey. So my first night in New York, I got my cousin's stick, and at that time was my fiance, and we're standing in line. We were going into the Hard Rock Cafe, and I'm in the line. Everybody knows what a New York block is. It's freaking a quarter mile long, and we're standing there, and the guy's coming down, and he's got his little tablet, and he's writing down, how many's in your group, how many's in your group. Well, he gets to my group, and if you know me, I'll do just about anything. So the guy comes up, and I said, there's 3 in the group. And I said, but man, I just flew these 2 beautiful women in on my private jet, and they really want to get in here. And he goes, I said, is there any way we could get in, ahead of everybody else? He goes, come with me. And I don't own a jet. I don't own anything like that. So he takes me down, and we're going into the Hard Rock Cafe, and I'm turning around looking at Stick and Michelle, and I bump into a woman, and I knocked her to the floor. I turn around, and I'm petrified. I'm helping her up. It was the wife of the lead singer of the Moody Blues. And I knocked her down. But they were so nice. I mean, I felt so bad. We actually went over and we had supper with them. We were there, I don't know, 2.5 hours. They paid for everything. They didn't have to. But just as we were getting ready to leave, this entourage comes in. I mean, it's Joe Piscopo.
Oh, yeah.
What
You said he
jerk.
was a dick.
He come in, he's surrounded by everybody. You think that, the president had just walked in.
Right.
And when you got into the Hard Rock, there's 3 separate bars. There's a big one towards the back. There's a small one, and then you go upstairs, and there's another one. Well, they go back to the bar in the back, which is, we're just sitting outside the bar underneath one of Elvis's outfits. And they're pushing people out of the way. Now, you can't get near him or anything. And he's telling me, don't let anybody get near me. Don't let anybody touch me. They get in. They made everybody leave that bar in the back. And him and his entourage took over the whole thing. And they had people standing there making sure that nobody would even come up or try to do anything. He was a complete jerk.
Well, that's a New Jersey person for you.
Okay, I got a question.
If I had bumped into him on the street, I would not recognize him.
Right.
Definitely
What
not.
about all these paranormal people that are celebrities on TV?
Oh, dear God, yes.
Now, Ones that I met them down there at Lexington at the big roundup, the Kling brothers.
Yeah, I like
Right? I had never watched their show.
that.
They're
Right.
decent men.
And everything.
Yeah.
I'm sitting out there. They're serving that breakfast in the mornings, right?
Mhm.
So I'm sitting out there at the picnic table and everything. They got their breakfast. They came over and sat down at the table with me. They're big boys,
Yeah.
right? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at them and I go, "Oh, you're the Kling brothers I see on the thing out here. Been you?" And they go, "Yeah." We sat there and talked for an hour.
Mhm.
Nicest guys you'd ever want to meet.
Yep.
As long as you don't
I've
piss them
seen,
off.
you know,
Mhm.
other people, and they're total jerks.
They know where their bread is buttered at. I mean,
Yes, they do.
when it comes right down to it, you know, as rough and grumble as Brad is, he's a nice guy. I mean,
Right. That's what I meant. I'm sitting there talking to him, and I didn't know that on his show he yells at the spirits.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So
yells
when
at
they're in
everybody.
there doing their talk up on the stage, he's yelling. I'm going, "Oh my God."
Have you seen the one where they went to McPike Mansion and the West Mansion? It's on YouTube.
Oh, he's yelling.
I've
big-
never watched any of their shows.
Right.
You should. They were hilarious. Like I said, I met them before they were actually famous, while they were still filming.
They're actually
the show.
really good
They were showing a film on the big screen behind them
Yeah.
with the volume turned up, and I'm going, "Well, they got the volume turned up." When he grabbed the microphone and started talking and yelling, I was like, "Jiminy Christmas!"
You know, Rick was filming with them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I always liked Brad and Barry Kling, and
Yeah.
and you know, and I'm still pissed that I gave you those tickets and you had so much fun.
Oh, we had a blast. Us and David Glidden. We're the only ones that camped out down there. Everybody
Oh, I
else brought
would've.
in motorhomes.
I couldn't believe it.
I would have.
Yeah, I had that bottle of Jägermeister that they didn't finish off in the back of my van for 8 months.
Yep. He talked about that, or you talked about that, and he talked about the Jaeger that he drank.
Yeah,
So,
well, he drank another one, and then they went and bought another one that night.
Mm.
They were doing horse rides until 2:00 in the morning down
What
there.
chafes me is that, and forgive me for interrupting because you
That's
brought
all
the
right.
subject up, is that what chafes me is that these folks are still calling themselves paranormal investigators. They're actors.
their parents-
Because when your investigation is not so much governed by your quest to find evidence as it is the producer or director, you've
Right.
become an actor. So you cannot call yourself a paranormal investigator anymore.
especially when you're already
Yep.
registered on IMDb.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, that's just like the Paracon they had down at the which one was it that I went to?
Was it the Kansas City Paracon?
Yeah, it's Kansas City Paracon, but it was at a different Masonic lodge. The
Oh,
one
the
in
one
the middle.
downtown where the drug addicts were,
Yeah,
where the needles
Okay.
were everywhere.
Yeah.
I went in there and I seen Dustin,
That's how you tell them apart, huh?
David Glidden, and all that. Well, the special guest was the guy that does the paranormal
Yeah.
show now, that was on the Fast and Furious, the little one
Chad.
in the car.
Chad.
Chad
Yeah.
Lindbergh.
Okay,
Chad is a sweetheart of a guy.
no,
Yeah,
he's
I've met
not.
him-
He's not.
He's a
well, I've met
jerk.
him 3 or 4 times.
David went up and asked him. I was standing right there when David asked him about doing an interview, right? He said, "Yeah, no problem. See you in a little bit." Walked around. I told David, I said, "That's pretty cool. You're going to get him for an interview for your haunting history, right?"
Right.
He goes, "Yeah." David walked right back up. Oh, about 30 minutes later, he comes up to him and says, "Oh, I can't do that. You got to talk to my manager." He wanted $500 to do an interview.
Jeez.
The manager did.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
maybe Chad wanted to, but his manager's the dick.
that's what I was
Exactly.
going to say.
That's what, if you say something, you better go by your word.
Right.
Yeah.
If
That's
that
your
manager
word,
says something,
not your
you
stupid
talk.
manager.
You remember
got
I was
him
telling you
hired.
about that Paraunity Expo BS they had in Vegas back in December?
Yeah.
That boondoggle. Chad was the only one there. My table was here and his was about 20 feet over here, and there's this big gap. Chad was the only person at that show I've never met before who got up came over and introduced himself to me and wanted to talk to me. Only one out of everybody in that room.
Oh no, people
He hadn't been on TV in a while.
They know who he is because if anybody watches Supernatural, they know him as
Mhm.
Ash. If they watch
I didn't.
Fast and the Furious, the thing
Yeah.
is just because you don't know him doesn't mean that people don't know him.
Right.
I didn't say that.
That's
But-
where I
I'm
knew
just
him
saying
from was the
nothing
Fast and
well.
Furious.
Yeah.
And stuff. And then I seen the flyer and he's on a paranormal show and I went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
What that lasted 4 episodes?
Yeah.
Not long.
It
4,
didn't
maybe
go.
6.
No.
No.
I mean, I like John E.L. Tenney. I think he's excellent. But Chad screaming like a little girl just didn't do it for
I
me.
was about to say that.
I was going to say the same thing.
Well, it's the way they did the show. I mean,
Because they went to Farrar, right? Wasn't that one of the ones they went to?
Yeah.
solo investigations. I mean, and then they come out telling all kinds of stories. They're like, okay,
Hi, Jeremy.
who else saw this? Nobody.
Hi, Jeremy.
We're just going by what you said. Oh, that's okay. Let's go. That show sucked. I'm sorry.
But there's a
All the
lot of them
paranormal
like
people
that.
I've met, like the Booth brothers. They're great. Christopher St. Booth and I are actually really close. I was so upset when he moved to California. That sucked. He's even got some of my artwork in his house. But I met the Kling brothers, and now it doesn't come to me. I met quite a few over the years, but my favorite one that I've ever met, and so proud to be a friend, is Denise. I'm serious.
Thank you.
Hey,
I am
everybody
serious.
knows this. Everybody knows the story of how me and Gary and Denise and Ron are real close, but it started out so funny. It really did. I accidentally ran across her radio show.
Yeah.
And started commenting in it. And it wasn't 3 months down the road, she asked me and Gary to be on her show. So we did. No problem. Then, a few months later, she asked us again to be on the show. We still hadn't met face to face yet. So we did. It was turned around that later in that August, wasn't it?
Yeah,
At the
it was,
KC
because that's when
Paracon,
I
the
met
first
Frank,
one?
too. Yeah, the one at Sugar Creek where
Yeah.
we met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
met Frank down
Well, everybody that got in her show when she was over there, when she started, they would, anybody that commented, I'd always say, where do they live? Find out where they're from. And then she said, you guys had the CCPT.
Yeah.
And I said, well, where are they at? And she said, they're around the Cameron area. I'm like, well, hell, that's not that far.
No. And after we met, it's just been a friendship. It's been
It's
going
like
on
we've known
7
each
years
other
now.
for years.
Probably seven
Years.
years this month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would you,
but
Frank? 7 years this coming
yeah,
month.
it seems a lot
Well,
longer.
matter of fact, at that KC Paracon is where I met Frank.
Yeah,
Right.
yep, that's
He was
right.
right behind me.
Yeah, that's
You
where
were
I'm at.
sitting right
Yes.
across from Dusk to Dawn
Yeah.
Yeah, he
because
was right
I was
behind
friends
me.
with Dusk to Dawn.
Yeah, he was right behind me, and he said something about Baltimore, and I went,
Yeah, because
And-
and that's where I met David. That's where I met Rick Rose and all them because David was over there and had
Yeah.
the TV on playing Denise. It had you on there from the show.
"Yep,
Right.
season 2 of Haunting History."
Yeah,
Right.
Denise had chatted with Rick. She kind of knew Rick a little bit before,
We met him in April.
but yeah, we actually
We met
Yeah,
in
'cause
April.
I
met
met-
in April and then went.
I met Frank down there, and then Pastor Gary talked to you quite a bit. That was on
Pastor Gary. Yes.
Yes,
This is my
Pastor
point
Gary.
making finger.
Yeah, he's in the chat room over there right now.
Didn't you use that for dancing too?
No, never did that
Right.
BS. Guys,
I mean,
listen to me. If you're
you look
trying
at
to
all-
dance, the higher the arms and hands go up, the stupider you look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That
I look
Paracon
stupid
there
doing it
Plus, you
anyways.
get struck
is
by
where I
lightning.
met a whole bunch of people.
Yep. I mean, that was a
And we
good
met
Paracon.
Darren, Caitlin, and Lisa, all them at Pythian.
Well, we met Dara and
Yeah, and Caitlin that
Caitlin.
first night.
And then,
And then we met
next
her
time
mom
we came
later.
to town.
You folks need other events out your way so we can all get back together again.
Yeah.
Because
we need events that are.
Well, we need better.
I think we need events that are
we
free
need
for the public to attend.
Yep.
Because of the fact that nobody wants to spend money.
We need to try and make our events that we plan.
If you got to pay to get into an event, your vendors aren't going to make near the money.
Right.
Yeah.
If you
there's
get
a big, David's got his in October.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going, regardless.
So are you coming to that, Frank?
I'm going to talk to Gary about going down to that one.
My invitation must have got lost in the matrix or something.
You better come here and give me a kiss.
Well, it's a first-time show,
Rex
so it doesn't
down.
meet your criteria.
I was supposed to be in Savannah, Georgia at the end of the month, but that con got rescheduled till next year. So my schedule remarkably just opened up until the end of September.
Yeah, this is the first weekend in October. The 7th and 8th. And it's in Joplin, Missouri. But like I said, it's a first-year event. And like I said, that doesn't meet your criteria.
Can we schedule something for Ron's birthday? Because I think I can one-up what I did last time.
Is that the David Glidden one you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, haunting history and 4-state paranormal.
Yeah, you were going to that, Rex, weren't you?
Man, if I could swing it,
okay,
that would be one that
a little ways from you.
Because he's going to have some bands down there. Josh Hurd's going to play down there.
Good friend.
All kinds of stuff.
Yes. Josh is a good friend. He's really good at
It's a
hiding how he really
concert
feels.
is what it is.
I think there's also going to be a Joe Biden impersonator down there playing electric banjo. It's just a rumor.
It could happen. There could also be alien ships down there for free abductions too.
That's right.
Oh, there you go.
We need to find somebody that's 79 and has the brain of a 150-year-old.
Right.
Maybe hard to do.
Yeah.
We'll find.
Jeremy, we got to get together sometime.
Yeah, decomposing.
But we got a couple minutes left. So, Frank, tell everybody where they can find you at.
Home. I was in a pool right before I came on today. Home. But my next scheduled event is the end of September in Alabama. So please watch my pages and I'll make postings appropriately. But everything that's posted is everything that's been already approved. And I got 12.5 promoters out there that are sitting back going, I don't know, should we? And they let you know at the last freaking minute. So watch my page and that's the best I can tell you.
Good deal.
Definitely will.
Rex, tell everybody where they can find you and what time.
All right. I should do I'm on the Bill Wrights Network every Saturday night at 7 p.m. And my show is with my son, Chame, music, movies, and maybe more. Don't miss a single episode because we're great. So, how's that?
Great. Denise, tell them where
I'll
they can
try and
find
catch
you.
your show live, Rex. If I can get in through YouTube, I can at least be able to comment, I think.
We're getting better each week, and it's
all you gotta do is get on the computer on StreamYard and watch it.
Well,
this is on her computer.
This is on my work computer, so he can't. I'd have to get it set up on another computer, but I will get it set up. And
my personal computer blew up.
So you can find the
got electrocuted.
The Paranormal Pride every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central, right here on the Bill of Rights Network. The Paranormal Pride YouTube and Facebook pages, and anywhere else that I think I can get it to go. You can even find me on LinkedIn, and join me Monday for Joe Citrone as my guest.
And you can find me on Facebook, all my pages out there, which are All Out Paranormal, Unexplainable Art, and of course, music, movies, and maybe more.
Okay. And check out the Bill of Rights Network and Things Network, and also check out Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment, where we're all on this show at. But check Bill of Rights Network with all our shows. Tomorrow night's show is Vincent's Voice.
I'll be on it.
And Rex is going to be a guest on there, so check that show out. But we have all kinds of shows over here on the Bill of Rights Network. So,
Carl.
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell you.
Okay. When we get off. 'Cause
Yeah.
they got another show coming on Things
Yeah.
Network in
Yeah, I
Phoenix.
just remembered that. I'll
Right.
make it quick.
So we'll check next Tuesday night. Everybody have
Should we do a Brady Bunch ending or something?
Huh?
Here's a story. But Frank doesn't look like anything like me.
Have a good